Oi, Elô. A gente vai esperar a nossa convidada chegando por aqui. Oi, Fátima, boa tarde, nossa diretora, se unindo aqui na nossa live. Oi, Adri. Oi, Carla. Vários professores da escola, é um prazer recebê-los aqui no nosso espaço. Vamos lá. Oi, Roberta, Lu. Hey, Florencia, good afternoon.
Hi, Maddie. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
To set my camera. There we go.
Sure, no problem. I'm good. I'm saying hi to people.
You know
Oi,
all
Aninha.
of them, probably.
Tem muitas carinhas conhecidas hoje por aqui. Lots of familiar faces around.
That's nice to have your community with you.
Yes, Teca, our coordinator.
Hi, Teca. I got to know some
Hi,
of them
Aninha.
too.
Yes, sure. Paulo, our design thinkers teacher.
Welcome.
Muito bom, né? Bom, a gente vai começar. Florencia, I'm going to speak a little bit in Portuguese to welcome our community, okay? And I'll get back to you in a second.
Sure. Go ahead.
Olá, gente, boa tarde. Eu sou a Mariana, eu sou a representante de Round Square na Aubrick. E hoje eu quero agradecer a todos por participarem do nosso momento Aubrick Inspires. É um espaço importante de discussão sobre o que valorizamos muito, que é a qualidade de nosso projeto pedagógico e uma relação de muita proximidade com as famílias, alunos e alunas da Aubrick. Eu gostaria de fazer um agradecimento especial à nossa direção, Fátima Lopes e Mirza Laranja. Hoje falo em nome delas sobre um projeto que para nós é muito especial e inspirador, que é Round Square. A Aubrick é a única escola membro de Round Square no Brasil. E ser a primeira instituição no Brasil é motivo de muito orgulho para nós. Hoje, para contar um pouquinho para vocês sobre Round Square na Aubrick, eu gostaria de convidar a Florencia Marante, é diretora de suporte às escolas da América Latina, e conversa conosco lá de Buenos Aires. Nossa conversa será em inglês, mas a gente vai receber perguntas, comentários em português, inglês, espanhol. Vocês podem deixar aqui embaixo no comentário que a gente no final vai fazer uma sessão de perguntas para vocês, tá bom? Welcome, Florencia. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to Aubrick Inspire session.
Thank you very much, Mariana. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all of the Aubrick community. This is my opportunity to be like 5 minutes of fame, you know? So it is nice to be connected.
Too.
Yeah, I know. And to reach out, and I'm always happy to talk to you and to network with you and to talk about Round Square, of course.
Yes, sure. Florencia, first to begin, what is Round Square? And how many schools are there around the world? How did it start? Tell us a little bit.
Let's go a little bit back in time, sure. So Round Square is an international network of schools. There are over 200 schools in around 50 countries across the 6 regions. So we have presence in every continent, actually. It started because some schools in the European continent decided to come together to support other communities in need. So the beautiful thing about Round Square is that service learning is at its heart, you know, because it was this need to go out and support other communities that brought them together. The first ever Round Square conference was held in 1967. So it's almost more than 50 years now. Yeah, at Gordonstown, which is a school in Scotland. And it's funny because that's where we got our name from. If you see a picture of the Gordonstone School, it is a round building within a square bottom. So that's where we got our logo from and our name from. The first conference, what heads of schools did was mainly get together because they realized of the power that came out of community building. They realized that they could do much more good if they came together as a community rather as separated schools. So the community spirit is also at the bottom of the Round Square identity. Ever since 1967, Round Square has been holding conferences every year since. At the beginning, it was just the heads coming together to discuss how would they implement this service learning. But eventually it turned more to the students, as you have seen, Maddie, that Round Square is mainly about students. And now the students are the ones really leading the projects.
Yes, Aubrick has been part of Round Square community for more than a year. And it all started when our head of school heard about it and decided to attend the conference in Colombia. And then she could see the benefits our students would have from engaging in a global community, and also from the collaborative projects and how they would help students develop social emotional skills. So that said, how do you feel Aubrick has contributed to the history of Round Square?
Okay, so Aubrick is like the first Brazilian lab of Round Square, because you never forget a first lab. We were very thrilled to have you and to have your application coming in. Round Square is not about numbers at all, but it surely is about geographical representation in a way. Not for us to pin a map, but mainly because a new school brings a new diversity into the network. And of course, a new country brings even more diversity to it. And we were lucky in Latin America in particular, but in general, in the world in general, the Brazilian voice. There's so many positive things that you can bring and you are bringing into a network that we are glad to have you to complete, in a way, our regional map,
Mm-hmm, of course, I know.
I know.
And how do you feel that Round Square supports schools to promote an education that values social emotional skills? Because for us, it was kind of what made us the concern about not only the academics, but also the social emotional skills of our students, their well-being. And how do you feel that Round Square helps schools on pursuing that, and how would it affect the students' future?
Great. So social and emotional learning is a transcendent part of education. Round Square believes in holistic education. Holistic education is a full student approach. We believe in educating mind and soul. Yes, it's not specifically about academics. So what we try to do is to help schools promote their character education programs so that their students can display their best selves. And particularly in social and emotional learning, what we look for is that the students can get the sense of confidence that they can make a difference. Because that's what mainly it is about, making them feel sure that they are very special, that they are unique, that there's no one like them in the world, and that they can surely make a difference, but specifically on a global level, to have them develop the capacity to work and understand diverse cultures, to promote peace, to be compassionate leaders, to develop their global citizenship, but together with an international understanding, to celebrate the differences instead of keep looking for what drives us apart. And what Round Square stands for and what Round Square promotes mainly is that it's giving students the opportunity to learn by doing. This is what we call experiential learning.
And they can also engage globally and take action locally, right? In their communities.
Yeah, the local approach, that's how we call it, that it is acting locally, but understanding that every local action has a global impact.
Great. And Florencia, what does Round Square offer to the schools that are part of the community?
Okay, so that's a long list, Mariana. I'm gonna get
I
started.
know.
I know.
It's
So
because, let me just add
yeah,
something. Usually parents and families and even students, teachers, they want to know, because when we talk about social emotional skills, they want to know, okay, how does it work in the classroom? So I guess this is, I know it's a long list, but it's
no, I'm happy.
exactly
I'm
what
happy to
makes
share.
us realize.
Yeah, I know. So, the possibility of students developing their global citizenship and international understanding, it depends mainly on two different sets of actions. One is experiential opportunities, which involve maybe students participating in a conference, going on exchanges, attending an international service projects. That is your school or Aubrick going out into the world. But there's also a moment in which the world comes into Aubrick. It's not that they have to go out and get it necessarily. So by participating in collaborations, by networking with other schools, by getting in touch with other realities and other cultures, by being aware that they are part of a larger community, which is an international one, by developing their compassion and their responsibility and whatever has to do with them understanding this important role that they develop in the world. So among other our activities, Marie, we have, the conferences. The conferences might be global or international. The international one brings together all of the schools in the Round Square network. The global, not necessarily all of them, but maybe some of them. We also invite Round Square students to attend international service projects. We also promote exchanges among schools, so you can send a student to another school and you can have other students come into your school as well. As you know, we promote collaborations, which is not necessarily going outside of your country, but bringing the world into your own country. We promote collaborative opportunities for teachers as well, so that they can also make the most out of a membership, that they can access different resources that we have, so that each Round Square school feels a necessary part of the whole,
Okay, that's wonderful. And everything is driven by some ideals, right, Florencia?
Yeah.
Could you please let us know a little bit about the ideals and the discovery framework?
The ideals are the pillars of our philosophy and our ethos. They're at the bottom of every Round Square activity. There are 6. And there's a play of words between the ideals word and the actual ideals, because they are international understanding, democracy, environmental stewardship, adventure, leadership, and service. These ideals, we understand that are present in every Round Square school, because most of the schools want to promote these values. What we as an international network do is help them, bring them to the light, and helps the schools promote them and name them in a certain way for their students and their community. You mentioned the discovery framework. The discovery framework are the 12 discoveries that underpin the 6 ideals. Each of the ideas has a particular spirit, and from that spirit you can find a certain discovery. I won't name the 12 of them, but for instance, there's teamwork, there's compassion, there's courage, there's inventiveness, there's inquisitiveness, all the characteristics that we hope our learners, our students will develop through their learning journey.
Okay, and our community is also able to check all the 12 in the Round Square website, right?
Of course, they are more than invited to have a look and to look around and to discover what Round Square has to offer.
Okay, and in your opinion, Florencia, what was Round Square most meaningful action?
Wow, if I have to pick one, but this only me because everything is meaningful in Round Square, I'm very fond of the international conferences, because it is the moment where we see our network working fully. For instance, last year we had our international conference in Indore in India. The Emerald Heights was our host school, and they did a wonderful job. And we have 1,000 students and 300 staff members coming together in the same place for a full week to reflect upon what's important for us. What I like most about the conferences in general are that students are the boss, you know, they are in charge. We just sit down there, make sure everything is quite in place, but then it's up to the students to make things happen. And in a certain way, at the beginning of every international conference, there's the flag ceremony, where each school comes through with their flag, and all of the countries are named and the schools are named. And that's the moment I get a little bit emotional, because I think, okay, so these people are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And if they can, if they're able to come together, if they're able to understand themselves, if they are able to share a full week, to show with pride what they have to share from their own cultures, it makes me like feel hopeful of the future, you know. But
absolutely,
what I like most about Round Square, Maddie, is how everything comes together. How the ideas, the discovery framework, the projects, the actions, the conferences, the events, they're all so pinned up together, and it makes so much sense, everything we do, that every time I see something going on, I say, everything is so cohesive, you know, everything is so tightly knotted, one thing to another one. And that's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, and I can say I feel so welcome in the community. Whenever we need anything, I mean, there's always support. There's always a helping hand from different schools around the world. So I feel really welcome. I understand what you say completely.
We do have a sense of solidarity, and that makes me really proud, because if we're trying to teach it to our students, we should practice it ourselves first, you know, because our students are looking up to us. So it's good that this happens, that we all have a sense of community and we all have a sense of solidarity, because that's the only way in which our students can learn, by seeing us do it.
Yes, for sure. We act as models for them.
Definitely, definitely.
And how about the teachers, Florencia? How do you feel that Round Square supports the teachers?
Of course, we are happy to support the teachers, because we know that they are the ones that makes things happen, you know. So in a certain way, they are our force, they are our teamwork. So we are constantly in the search for new resources to share with them. You know pretty well that we have a resource library that's quite populated, where we offer lesson plans for teachers. I'm sorry. We also offer different training workshops. You know that we get together as a region once a year to reflect upon what's important for us, to share new ideas, to promote the ideas as well. We also have within the Round Square team some experts that are there to support teachers as well. You do know we have a digital communications manager, and we have a curriculum expert, which is Amy Theodore, who is there to support schools. For instance, if you have a lesson plan and you want to align that lesson plan to the ideas of the discovery framework, you just call out to Amy and she's going to help you do that. We try to help each other understand better what Round Square has to offer. And you know that we have this beautiful saying in Round Square, which means share and steal. You know, you're allowed to take somebody else's idea and bring it back home. And that is turning us back to the idea of solidarity we were discussing at the beginning. So how wonderful it is that you have one idea in Brazil, but you can get 200 and plus extra ideas from other Round Square schools. And that is an infinite source of inspiration in a way.
And there are so many great ideas around, for sure.
Wonderful. And it is also, you know, schools feel really proud when they send out an idea or they suggest something and they see it done some places around the world, because it's kind of, it makes you feel that what you proposed is really valuable and worthy. So we are doing the same thing over here.
Yeah, and students feel that way too. Whenever we say, oh, we're doing this project or we are creating this and we're going to share with other students from other schools, they always feel eager to it. They feel they're contributing to something bigger than what we have like locally at Aubrick, right?
Yeah, and the possibility, you know, Marie, the possibility of sharing your own culture or your own production makes you feel proud of it in a certain way.
Yes, for
It's
sure.
like when you're
Yes.
a little girl and you go to mommy and daddy and look at my drawing, how nice it looks. So in a certain way, I see students feel the same way. Whenever I conduct international collaborations, and you were there in a meeting within Latin America with students only a couple of weeks ago, they are so proud when their time comes to
Yes.
share, and this is what we did, and they enjoy so much sharing it. So that's also a positive thing, actually.
Yeah. Okay, and as you said that we get proud of sharing, I would like to know, how do you see Aubrick's engagement in Round Square actions? I mean, what have we done that called your attention?
So I have an image for Aubrick. I hope you like it. Aubrick is the student in the classroom that whenever you put something forward, they put their hand up, you know, when you come to a classroom and you say, okay, so this is what we're going to do today. Who would like to participate? Me. So that's Aubrick. Yeah, exactly. So that's Aubrick. Aubrick is always willing to engage. And I enjoy so much seeing that you take the best out of your membership, that you seize every opportunity, that you embrace every single option that you have to connect your students with other students. I keep telling this beautiful story about your school, and I always say, I had a sneak peek of what you would be as a member school when I did the evaluation visit, which was wonderful, because you treated us as a queen, as a king, because I went there with Mr. Page. Not only that, but you showed us your best side, because you had us attend to a music concert, and then you had us attend to a choir concert, and then you had these little kids from primary years that were supposed to tour us around the school.
Yeah.
And you know, when you tour the school, every now and then you get silent moments, because when you go to one room to another one, you usually don't speak, or the adults come in all stressed out to talk to us. But the kids were so well prepared for that situation that they would look up to me while we were walking, and they would say, how was your flight, madam? Or do you like going to the movies? Which was the last movie you saw? Or do you like reading? And I realized right there that you would be something special, because you take things so seriously, and you don't stay halfway, you know, with whatever you engage. So we are very lucky to have you, really.
Yes, the students really got prepared for that visit. It was lovely to see. Like, I remember they asked, are you a vegetarian? Wasn't it?
It was so heartwarming, but it was good to see how seriously they took the situation,
and
you know.
I also feel that it shows us something that it's very important for us at Aubrick, which is to welcome students and the community and whoever comes to our school. We really enjoy, it's a pleasure for us to welcome people at Aubrick. So I understand what you say, and it's definitely something that is important for us.
It is an open and warm community. I found it out the first minute I set my foot into the school, and I keep seeing it every time you engage in a new project.
Oh, good. Florencia, now that we are all seeing that this global challenge, and we feel that we need as a community to come together, right? And how do you feel that Round Square helps the schools during this challenging situation when we have to face distance learning?
Oh, I know, that's a hard one. So, you know, Round Square understands that this pandemic is both an opportunity and a responsibility. And we take it both ways, you know, an opportunity to reinforce our global identity. You have seen it, Mariana. We invite people to share an open meeting just to see how you're doing and see if we can support each other. and we get 50 people participating.
Yes.
So this is a great opportunity to reinforce and strengthen our sense of belonging. This message that we are here for you in a way. But at the same time, it is a big responsibility because we are seriously committed to our schools. So that's why we came up with some new resources. You know, we have plenty of resources already in place for our schools. But during these past weeks, we have been launching one special challenge per week so that our schools could complement that could put that into their virtual learning platforms or curriculums. We tried to make Round Square kind of a meeting point so that they didn't lose their connections, so that they could still sense that there's a whole community backing them up. And in a way, we tried to promote as much collaborations as possible so that schools that were having a hard time already with the lockdown and the isolation did not feel isolated at all. And I think that this strange lockdown we're undergoing found us more united and more close than ever as a network.
Yeah, there were 3 moments in which I felt that we really got the support from Round Square. The first one was when Round Square put together people to talk about how they are experiencing this in their schools. And for us, it was important because we could listen from schools that were in quarantine before us. So they had an experience, maybe, a small one, but it was very good to listen. Also, when students could get together last week, we had our students from year 9, I guess, and they got together with students from a school in New York, and they could discuss the role of their leaders in this pandemic. It was a wonderful moment. It was great to see how prepared they were to talk about leadership and how they knew exactly what a good leader looks like and how to identify these characteristics in this or that person. So it was really amazing to see that.
One interesting thing is that Round Square allows students to have a voice in a different scenario where they usually have it, because within the schools, of course, that they do have a voice, we know that. But for a Round Square student to have a voice within an international meeting or with a schools from far away or from across the ocean, it has a different impact for them, to be asked by somebody in New York or by somebody in India, what do they think? It empowers them and it makes them feel that their voice is important.
Yeah, and although they live in very different places, they have so much in common, and they find this out when they get together. I am reading one of the comments from Isabella Moreno, which is one of our students, and she was in our meeting last week, and she is commenting on that, saying that it helped her a lot. And that's what I think, because they see that everybody is facing the same challenge and they can help each other to deal with it better.
Absolutely. And again, the power of community, the power of coming together and to be aware that we're going to get through this only as a community, not as individuals.
Yeah, sure. Can you think of the attributes from the discovery framework that have been important for the teachers and students to perform better in this distance learning environment?
Okay, at the top of my head, ability to solve problems, Mariana.
Yes, for sure.
From the technical problems to connect and to be able to do the distance learning, to every other problem which might be handling things at home while you're teaching. So definitely the ability to solve problems has been one of the discoveries that had been at the top of the list during this e-learning time. I think as well a sense of responsibility, of course, because when we are at schools, it gives us a certain structure. But when we lose the structure, it's only up to us to manage our time and to manage our work. tenacity, of course. It's been long. It seems like it's
Yes.
going to be a little bit longer. So we have to walk through it. And I think tenacity is quite important at this time. Courage, for sure, because we are all struggling in a certain way during these uncertain times. And I believe that one of the discoveries that is in place for all of us is self-awareness. This moment and this time of the world has allowed us to reflect much more upon certain things that we don't always reflect upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think now we can take a look at the questions from our
Sure.
community. Okay.
Let's see.
Florencia, I have here Monica and Patricia. They would like to know, they left these questions in our post at Instagram, and they would like to know your ideas on global education during the pandemic and how the educational system might change when we go back to the school building.
Okay. So global education, I believe, Mariana, that this pandemic has given us an opportunity of looking at the world, because as we're all going through the same thing at the same time, it turns into a small family. We are billions of people out there, but it turns into a small family. And it has been an opportunity for us to understand the world, because to understand what was happening locally, we had to look at the globe and see what was going on locally. It made every sense to understand why the pandemic, how was it developing in some other countries. So it is true that we have been looking at the world more than ever. And global education is about that. It's about bringing the world into your curriculum in a certain way and being aware of the way in which we are interconnected. In this opportunity, it has been in a sad way, because it has been shown that we are connected through a disease, but we are also connected through a lot of positive things that we're not always aware of in a certain way. And how would our schools look like when we go back? Okay, so that's a difficult one. Nobody is quite sure. We had a Zoom meeting a couple of weeks ago with a head of school in Beijing. They were coming back into schools.
Yes.
And they were showing us and telling us about all the protocols and the distance they have to keep and the security measures. So it's going to be a new school in a certain way. But what I'm sure of is that the basics of education will not have changed once we are back, because we want to bond. We want to meet with our friends. We want to be part of a team. We still want to make the world a better place, and we still believe in education as the driver of positive changes. So I believe that there's much more that's going to be changed on the outside than in the inside, in the actual philosophy of education.
Yeah, I'm sure of that too, Florencia. I agree with you. Flavia would like to know about projects on sustainability.
Okay.
And
so we had a beautiful...
I can say one that Aubrick. Yes.
But I want to mention we had a beautiful one that unfortunately we won't be able to go ahead with because of the pandemic. We were going on an environmental project to Madagascar to work with colonies of lemurs over there, which sounded really, really exciting. So we are always looking into sustainable possibilities and sustainable collaborations. And I know that Aubrick is involved in one very significant that you will probably want to talk about.
Yes, we were invited by a school in Colombia, Los Nogales, right? And we joined also a school in Canada, Collingwood, and we are working on a project. Year 5 is the leader of this project at school. And we are thinking of how to take action to think about the impact that we have on the environment, our environment footprints, to discuss some of the SDGs. And it's very beautiful because the teachers got together. We are still in this part in which we're planning. This project is going to be like to be for the students, to be launched for the students in the second term. So in August, I guess, and all the teachers are together and they're planning together, and it's amazing to see how this collaborative atmosphere makes this project to get better each day. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for our students to take action considering their footprints. Aubrick is especially involved in the fashion footprint, and we are doing a lot of research on that as well.
Sounds like fun. You know that collaboration makes learning more fun in a certain way, and it enriches it, collaboration, you know, because if you work by yourself, you have one idea. If you work collaboratively, you have plenty of ideas, as many as the people that you're collaborating with. So the actual idea of collaboration is empowering the education, the learning process for students and for teachers as well. And that's a collaboration I'm very looking forward to seeing in place, because I think it's going to be really significant for your students and your school in general.
Okay, let me see. There are some more questions.
Okay.
Ana Luisa, our dear student from year 7. What are the objectives of Round Square, and in which country are they present? Yeah, are they involved?
Hi, Ana Luisa. I saw your video and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
I won't be able to name the 50 countries that Round Square is present at, but in Latin America, we have schools in Argentina, in Chile, in Brazil, in Peru, and in Colombia, for sure. There's 11 of us here in Latin America. We are few, we are really strong and really powerful, and we make a lot of noise, you know? Everybody knows us, the Latin American team, and that's good. And what's the objective of Round Square? Was that the question, Mariana?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
What's the objective?
So our ideal, our goal is to help schools embed character education. We look forward to promoting within the students as many opportunities as possible for them to be their best self, to discover what they have to give, to discover their potential, to realize that they should never settle for less because they have no limits in their learning process. This is something that we cannot do by ourselves. As I was saying before, schools in the Round Square network are our force. We use them as our team force, you know, because it is through them that we help them change education, make a positive impact to the world, and be promoters of social change.
Great. Natalia Nazer, is there any Round Square community where kids could have constant contact with other kids from different countries?
Every school in the Round Square community can have constant contact with schools in another country, in another region. Everyone. Round Square is it's a community that looks forward to the networking of their member schools. Yes, networking, we've been talking about the different possibilities and opportunities. Networking is what makes possible all the things that we promote. So the network is open to every school that is member, of course.
Yeah, and I think that we can also say about the meeting we held with students, right, Florencia, a few weeks ago, and which students, they got together to talk about service projects, how to help their community during these times, and they presented to each other what ideas came to their minds, and they worked on projects, right? So this was really beautiful, and it was a way for them to connect as well.
Absolutely, and it was inspiring at the same time. I got a message from one of our schools here in Latin America that was thanking us because during that meeting, their students had to put something together to present. They ended up by doing a beautiful service project that they actually have in place. So sometimes it is a catalyst for things that you were always wishing to do, but you never find the time or the place to do it. And Round Square puts it in place for you to develop it. We know it's important for you, so we help you make it happen.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, what do you think will change people when we come back from quarantine?
In which way will people be changed? That's what you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
How this challenge, how this whole situation is changing people. Yeah. How do you think?
I think it's helping us reconnect with what's really important. It's helping us value the bonding and the closeness of the people that love us and the ones we love. I think that's going to make us also think again, what kind of life do we want to lead, because it's very strange that we have been stopped in our common lives so abruptly. But I also think that we're going to value more some downtime, maybe consider taking life a little bit slower, and maybe making the time for what is really important instead of always being behind what's urgent, because urgency and important are not the same things. So yeah. I hope, Mariana, we're gonna get out of this pandemic transformed. I really hope that we learn. I wouldn't like to see this be lost in time, because it has been a major opportunity for us to restart in a certain way. They sent me this image a few days ago that I loved. It was the map, the globe, with this sign that says temporarily closed, grand reopening soon. So I like to think of it as a big reopening. Hope we all understand that this has been a great opportunity to do things differently.
Yeah, there are things that we always want to change, right? But we never get the time to do it. And now it's the time we're being forced to reconsider. So
definitely.
I think we'll come up very differently from that. There is a question from Fabiana. What is the way to insert social-emotional subjects in the local curriculum in a way that they become mandatory? I like this one because in a way it is like, how do you really put that in practice, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, consistently structured, not because when we talk about social-emotional skills, we usually say, oh, we're doing it through other areas. But if we change the focus and we focus on that, how do you do it every day?
Okay, so the first thing is to name it. You just mentioned that, oh, we are doing it in a way, it's implicit. Oh, no. It should not be implicit. It should be explicit. And we should let students know that this is being courageous, and this is being inquisitive, and this is teamwork. We should name it. The approach around social and emotional learning programs is mainly up to each school, Round Square does not intervene in the school and tell you how to do it. We just suggest you do it in a certain way, and we provide you a framework, which is a discovery framework, and we provide you a whole community that will help you achieve that. But it's not up to us really to say in which ways each school should implement it. What I think is that it should be open and explicit, and it should be shared, and it should be up on walls, and it should be mentioned in the classroom. You don't have to learn them, but you have to experience them in a way. And you have to provide opportunities for students to experience these values.
Yeah, great. Okay, I think these are the questions. Bianca is mentioning that there are 4 students around in our live who have just collaborated in a regional core project. So they're singing along with other students
I know.
around the world.
Yeah, they're putting together a Beatles song. It's going to be great.
It's a beautiful project with so many schools involved, right?
Yeah. Looking forward to see the product of that. It's going to be great.
Yes, me too. Okay, Florencia, I would like to ask you if you could leave a message for Aubrick community. I don't see any other questions here, but I mean, can you leave us a message so we can share with all the community, all the Aubrick community?
Of course. Firstly, I would like to hope that all of you stay safe and stay well. I wish you the best as a community. And if I would have to pick a message that's related to the Round Square ethos and philosophy, you know that we base our principles on the German educational philosopher Kurt Hahn, who has a beautiful motto. We take it as a motto, which is, there is more in us than we know. If only we could be made to see it, we would never settle for less. And we, Round Square, understand students as explorers and understand their learning as a journey. And I would love all of us not to lose that spirit of going through life as explorers, you know, because explorers are constantly amazed by what they see and surprised by what they see. So I would like all of us not to get used to the wonders that are out there in the world and to keep seeing life.
That's so beautiful. I have just seen that Fatima Lopez, our head, is thanking you so much. So it's in here in the comments.
My absolute pleasure. I always feel so welcomed by the Aubrick community. That's what I was happy to connect and to let you all know how well we are working together and the ways in which, of course, Round Square supports and hopes it makes better your educational project, but Aubrick also makes Round Square better.
Yeah, I see also Luciana commenting that also the students are very proud of being part of the community. And I really see that they really enjoy taking part of this very special project.
They're always proactive. Don't lose it.
Yes, I'm just gonna thank in Portuguese a little bit, okay, Florencia?
Sure.
I'll be back to you in a second.
Yes, no problem.
Gente, eu gostaria de agradecer a todos pela participação de hoje, dizer que a nossa conversa vai ficar à disposição aqui no Instagram, no IGTV, e em nosso canal do YouTube. É um prazer. Eu, como representante de Round Square na Aubrick, todos os dias fico muito feliz em poder participar dessa iniciativa da escola. Gostaria de agradecer a Fátima e a Mirza por terem essa visão também, né, de o quanto é importante a gente pensar não só no nosso currículo acadêmico, que também é muito importante, mas nas habilidades socioemocionais dos nossos alunos, para que todos não só sejam alunos brilhantes, mas sejam também pessoas melhores e que estejam engajadas em todo o mundo para fazer a diferença. Thank you so much, Florencia. It was wonderful. I really hope we can see each other very soon.
Hope so. Hope you all stay well and safe until then. Thank you for the invitation. It has been great sharing. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.